Let's go ahead and start. Yellow will go first. I'm going to tie it right here. Now that yellow is tied, I'm going to remove yellow. I'm going to make it go in front of the head, and I'm going to tie orange below yellow. So I'm going to tie it right there. Before we move any further, we need to understand intertwining 101. Yellow is going to come back down, and I'm going to intertwine yellow with orange. So here are some basic rules. If yellow is going to have 3 separations, to intertwine with orange, orange will then have 4. The reason for this is because I'm going to want to have orange to be the first and last separation. So therefore, if you imagine my fingers to be my orange separations, to be the first and last, I need my yellow to be 3, and my yellow is going to fit right there. I'm going to separate yellow into 3 separations, making it as even as I can. All right, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pre-separate them because I can. Now, we know that orange needs to be the first and the last, and it's going to have 4. So therefore, I am going to break off the first separation of orange, and I'm going to drop in yellow's first separation. Then I'm going to break off the second separation of orange, and I'm going to drop in my second yellow. Now I'm going to split whatever's left into 2, creating the third and the fourth separation in orange. And I'm going to drop in the third yellow. As you can see, you have the 3 yellows and the 4 orange. Orange has the first and the last sections. Now that that's done, yellow on the bottom is going to stay on the bottom, and I'm going to bring orange on top. Orange is going to stay put. Yellow is going to be tied right here. But because I know I'm going to pick up red as well, you can either tie yellow here first, just for control, and then bring in your red together after. Or you can just tie it all together now. Yellow and red are now tied together. Let's keep going with intertwining 101. Since orange is going to come back down, and it has 4 separations, and these separations have already been made because of the previous step. Orange has 4, which means yellow and red as one section will now have 5. 5 because if this is yellow and red needs to have the first and the last section, and this is my orange, they're going to intertwine like this. So let's go ahead and remove the first separation of yellow and red. I am removing the first separation of yellow and red, and I'm going to drop orange in between. Now I'm going to separate the second separation of yellow and red. Here it is, and I'm going to drop the second orange in between. Let me do the third separation. There it is. And I'm going to drop the third orange in between. And I'm going to do the fourth one. Here it is. And I'm going to drop orange in between. Because I have the colors, I went ahead and I used them to my benefit. I just made red a separation. I split the yellow into 3, and I made the last red the other separation. This is more for visual because I could, so that way it's a little bit easier to follow. Alright, so as you can see, we have 5 separations on the bottom, and orange has 4. Now yellow and red are going to go up, and I'm going to tie orange right here, or you can grab the pink with it, combine it, and tie it right there. And this is what I'm going to do. Pink and orange are now tied together. We can now bring down red and yellow. If red and yellow have 5 separations, that means pink and orange are going to have 6, because pink and orange will need to have the first one and the last one. So what I'm going to do now is separate the first separation on the bottom, dropping in red, the first separation on top. Now I'm going to separate out the second separation on the bottom, dropping in the second one. Then I'm going to separate out the third separation, dropping in the third from the yellow and the red on top. Here it is. Now I'm going to separate out the fourth separation on the bottom, dropping in the fourth separation from the top, which is yellow. Here it is. And now I'm going to separate out one last time the bottom, the orange and the pink, dropping in the fifth separation, or the red one right here. To make it easier to follow, I kept the red on the outside, the yellow on the inside, and on the bottom I just kept the pink on the outside, keeping the orange on the inside. Alrighty, so we have our 5 on top, we have our 6 on our bottom. Now what we're going to do is bring pink and orange on top, holding it right here, and I'm going to go ahead and tie red and yellow right there. Red and yellow is tied up. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring back down the orange and the pink. And from here, because orange and pink have 6 separations, that means if you were to keep going, the next one will have 7. And then the next one after that will have 8 and then 9. Or what I'm going to do is now I'm going to tie all of it together, all 4 colors, and I'm going to stop right here. Now that I tied all of it together, what you can do from here is you can pull on the sections individually to pop them out to make everything nice and even. See, the reds are on the outside, the pinks are on the outside. So if anything is uneven like this one right here, you can just pop it out. Let's go ahead and try this on a mannequin head. Go ahead and remove the yellow section, the horseshoe on top, the easy part. And go ahead and tie it right here. All right, still easy enough. Let's go ahead and remove the yellow section away. Let's grab orange. This is gonna go straight across. Just grab it all. And tie it in the middle. Comb it to keep it nice and clean. All right, we are ready for the intertwining. Yellow again is going to have 3, orange will have 4, and they're going to fit just like this. Orange will have the first and last one, yellow will come right in between all of them. Let's go ahead and pre-separate yellow into 3 sections. All right, my yellow is pre-separated. I got 3 of them right here. One by one, we're going to separate the orange. All we need to know is that orange will have the first and the last separation. Let's go with the first. Here's my first orange separation. Here's my first yellow going in. Trying to keep it nice and clean. Here you go. Let me go and separate my second orange. It's right there. There's my second, my third, and there's my yellow going in. There we are. And let's separate the third and fourth orange right here. And the third yellow going in. Here we have it. 3 yellows, 4 orange, and orange is the first and the last. Let's go ahead and bring orange up. Use a bobby pin or hair clip to keep this up here. You can tie yellow here to keep everything nice and organized, or you can go ahead and grab your red section straight across, join it with your yellow, and tie it as one. All right, let's recap. Yellow had 3, orange had 4, which means that now yellow and red will have 5. Orange will have 4. This is going to be my red and yellow. There's my orange with 4, and it's going to intertwine in between. Yellow and red will have the first and the last one. Orange has already been pre-separated because of this step above. Now that we know we have 4 orange, and we know that red and yellow needs to have the first separation and the last, I'm going to start with the bottom section. I'm going to remove the first separation, and I'm going to drop in my first orange. There you go. Now I'm going to remove my second separation of the red and yellow. Here it is. And I'm going to drop in my second orange. Pushing it down. Now with the red and yellow, I'm going to go ahead and separate the third separation. Dropping in the third orange right here. And lastly, I'm going to separate in half whatever's left over in the yellow and the red. Right there. And dropping in the last orange. So there we have it. Orange is on the bottom. Red and yellow are on top. And we have our 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our first and our last. Let's go ahead and move red and yellow on top. Go ahead and use a bobby pin or hair clip to make sure it stays up here while we tie up pink and orange together. All right, there's my pink section, there's my orange, tying this together right here. Now that it's tied, I'm going to remove the yellow and red. As you recall, yellow and red has 5 sections, which means pink and orange are going to have 6. And pink and orange will have the first separation and the last. So let's get started. There's my pink and orange, removing the first separation. Here it is. Dropping in my first yellow and red. There it is. Grabbing my second separation of my pink and orange, separating it, dropping in my second yellow and red, right into it, right there, separating my third pink and orange, dropping in my third, make sure it's just my third, 4, 5, perfect, dropping in my third yellow and red. Now it's going to be my fourth separation, dropping in my fourth yellow and red, right there. And lastly, let's go ahead and separate the 5th and 6th pink and orange separation, dropping in our 5th yellow and red. Here's our separations. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellow and red, and we have 1 first, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 also last separation of the pink and orange. Pink and orange are going to go up. I'm just going to hold it right here, and I'm going to tie the yellow and the red. Pink and orange are now on top, and we can finish the hairstyle by tying it all right here. Now if you want to challenge yourself, keep going. The next one will have 7, then 8, then 9. But I'm going to finish it off right here. Once you tied everything up, you want to make sure everything is nice and even. So go ahead and pull as needed to make sure that all your sections, your outer sections, are definitely even and the sizes go well with each other. Like my top one is very small compared to my bottom one, so I'm going to pull on it a little bit. Not so that they're perfectly even, but at least nicely balanced. I can pull in the middle one, give it more depth. Same as always, hang on to the hair tie when you're pulling. If you're pulling just a little bit, you can just pull on it a little bit. If it's a little bit more serious, always hang on to the hair tie. When you pull it a little bit more evenly throughout balance, it looks really good.